All right. Welcome back to the Know Your Numbers REI podcast. This is your host, Chris McCormack, CPA, certified tax planner, and founder here at Better Books, where it is our goal to help you, the real estate investor, eliminate the frustration, grow in confidence around your tax strategy. We know that there are a lot of real estate investors, real estate professionals, maybe business owners looking to use real estate as a vehicle to offset their taxes who are flying blind. You guys don't know what you're doing when it comes to tax strategy. You give all your documents to your CPA at year end, and then you just hope that he or she does it to the best of their ability and gets you paying the lowest amount of taxes. And I'm here to tell you that there is a better way, and it is the way of tax planning. And if you have been following along the past few weeks, you know that we are doing a deep dive into our latest ebook, The 6 Keys to Increasing Your Real Estate Revenue. We have covered the first 3 keys, and today we're going to be continuing that topic as we dive into key number 4. Now, this is related to real estate revenue, but I am here to tell you that it is applicable to just about any industry if you tailor it and find the right way to use it accordingly. So if you are a business owner, I encourage you to stay with us for the long haul as we consider key number 4. And then for all you real estate investors, if you know anybody who could find value or receive value from this, go ahead and share it with them. We know that there, like I said, a lot of people out there who are dealing with the same issues that you are dealing with and the same issues that we are looking to solve here. And it helps to just share it with a friend and give them the wisdom or knowledge that might come from it. So first 3 keys have really dealt with the need for good bookkeeping and accounting, right? Key number 1 is getting your books cleaned up so that you can have confidence and you can eliminate that overwhelm and the chaos that comes with just having a wreck of books, right? Maybe you have tried to do the Excel spreadsheet or collect the receipts, put them in a shoebox, give them to your accountant, right? That is not the way. That is the best way to overwhelm yourself, take up far too much of your time, frustrate yourself with just the need to collect everything, and it just leads to a lot more problems down the road than it solves. So key number 1 was getting your books in order. Key number 2 was implementing a process to keep your books in order, right? You get them cleaned up, and now it's okay, how do we maintain those healthy habits to make sure we don't fall into that old way of doing things? Key number 3 was using your records to assess performance and plan for the future financially. And this is a benefit that you can have through the use of cleaned up books. You can operate more as a business owner, as a CFO of your company, and kind of see how you're performing, measuring up to what your projected performance was, and then see what you need to do to either continue to grow or get back on track wherever you have it. Now, once all that is taken care of, key number 4 is not too far behind. It is now time to invest in a tax plan so you have confidence in what the future has in store, right? So who would have thought that over halfway through our ebook would be when we start talking about taxes and tax planning? But really, like I've said before, it's about the foundations, the fundamentals. Once you get those right, then we can graduate into the more serious undertaking, which is tax planning and developing a tax strategy so that you can plan for the future, know how much you're going to pay in taxes, know how much you're going to save in taxes, know what you can do to save in tax, pull which levers you need to pull to eliminate the challenges, achieve the goals, and continue to grow peacefully and prosperously. So we're going to invest in a tax plan. Now, when I say tax plan, I do not mean planning to pay taxes, right? There was an episode recently I did about tax projections versus tax planning. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you that they have tax planning. And what they're going to sell you is an investment vehicle. They're going to tell you park money into a 401k because that's tax planning. They're going to tell you, okay, you're on the hook for $60,000. Make sure you put that money aside for taxes, right? It's a plan to pay taxes. They're not saying you're going to owe $60,000, but here's what you can do to cut it down to $30,000. They're telling you, no, you're going to owe $60,000. Make sure you have the money to pay. If not, we'll put you on a payment plan. That is not tax planning. Well, hear me when I say this. Tax planning is planning to pay the least amount in taxes or no taxes at all. Planning around taxes, planning to mitigate taxes, using strategies that are approved by tax courts, by the IRS, by the regulators, so that you can keep more money in your account, give less money to the US government. Right? So today we're going to be focusing on investing in a tax plan. And there's a few things that you need to get right. And this is for the person who has maybe been in real estate for a while and you're probably pretty successful. Maybe you've done a few flips a year. Maybe you have a growing portfolio. But at the end of the year, it always feels like you never seem to have enough, right? You get that tax bill. your CPA or EA or whoever is doing your taxes gives you the tax return. They say, here, hand this much money over to the US government. And it seems like a lot. It's most of the money that you were relying on as that savings to go and invest in your next property or to take your family on a vacation. Tax planning is for you, but you need to make sure that you're finding the right form of tax planning, right? It's not just anything you get on the marketplace. You're not going to get it at H&R Block. A lot of CPAs aren't going to offer it. You got to make sure that you're finding the right people who you connect with, who you know they understand your situation and they know the best approach for it. So what can you look for? One, expertise, right? We preach this all throughout our podcasts. And if you're one of our clients, we know that it is important for you to have a real estate expert in your industry. I had a client who came to us last year. I think it was last fall, probably August or July, maybe I guess that's summer. But he owns a business and he also owns real estate. And he was kind of searching around for somebody that could help him out with his taxes. He has made a lot of money over the course of his time, and he was looking to find ways that he could eliminate some of the tax burden. For years, he had prepared his own personal taxes. And so he came to us. He was curious about what he could find. And come to find out, we had strategies that would save him about $50,000 that year in taxes. And he asked me, hey, Chris, what should I do about my business, right? It's a business that's in a very regulated industry. It requires a lot of focus and attention, and it requires an expertise, for lack of a better word. And right now, his business, and he and his business partners were teamed up, partnered up. They hired a CPA who had an expertise in this industry. And so he asked, Chris, should you be doing my business as well? And I straight up said, listen, we are the real estate tax experts. We can help you with the real estate. We can surely use your business to also work in tandem with the real estate portfolio that you continue to grow. But I think because you're in good hands over there and you have an expert on that side of things, you stick with them on the business side and we'll take care of the personal. And if we need to have conversations between the two of us, we will do that. But I am confident that you have what you need on that side and we can offer what you need on this side. And the reason I say that is because we know the value of expertise. And so if you're a car mechanic doing tax work with somebody who is a real estate expert, they might not know all of the ins and outs of the auto industry, right? You're probably better off if somebody out there specializes in the tax world of mechanics going to a tax accountant who specializes in the mechanic industry, right? Think about it from a medical perspective. You go to a dentist to deal with your teeth. And then if you have a need for more specialized procedures, you're going to go to an orthodontist. You go to a doctor to do your general checkup. If you need more specialized procedures, you might go to a surgeon or a cardiologist or a neurologist, right? These people specialize in specific industries and they have an expertise that is unmatched outside of that industry. And the same thing goes with your financial life. So when you're thinking about tax planning, right, this is key number 4, invest in a tax plan so you can plan for the future. You want to invest in a tax plan with somebody who knows your industry. They know the ins and outs. They know which levers to pull so that you can have confidence in your future. You know you're saving the most amount of taxes because you know that that person has worked with a lot of other people like you, right? And so it builds the confidence for the future. The confidence that comes from tax planning is that you have the confidence that you're keeping as much money as possible in your bank account. You're no longer burning cash, sending it to the US government. You are keeping it, reinvesting it, investing it in your properties or in your business or in your family. So it's planning for the future in saying, hey, we're looking at like a $60,000 tax bill if we did nothing, but here's what we can do to bring it down to 30,000 or 20,000 or 10,000. And I know these strategies work because I've spent hours on hours on hours working with people that are in your exact same shoes or similar shoes, right? Because there's no tax plan that's exactly the same. But I've also spent hours and hours doing continuing education in this specific industry, hours and hours meeting with people that are in this specific industry, doing research on court cases, right? I can't possibly look at all the tax court cases that come by, but I do make an effort to look at the ones that have to do with real estate because they have to do with us and our clients, and it builds our expertise so that we can provide more value to our clients. So when you're looking to invest in a tax plan and gain confidence for the future, you got to start by looking for somebody with an expertise. And sometimes people come to me and they're like, hey, Chris, I'm ready for a tax plan. I'm like, hey, how are your books? They're like, what books? I haven't done anything on the books. And that's why this is key number 4, because the first 3 keys, we need to know your numbers to get an idea. Because if I came to you and I said, all right, sure, let's do a tax plan. It's going to be $10,000. And they're like, sure. But come to find out that they wouldn't be paying any taxes because they didn't have any profit. That wouldn't sit right with me. And it probably wouldn't make much sense to them. But the key is that we can get a clear picture as to where you're at now by having cleanup books and implementing the habits that you need to stay on top of your books getting a gauge for where you are and where you want to go. And then we implement a tax plan. Say, okay, you want to profit $200,000. That's going to be $48,000 worth of taxes at the 24% tax rate. So what can we do to mitigate those taxes? Okay, can we take expenses this year? Can we contribute to retirement accounts? Can we buy a property and accelerate the depreciation on that property and get that $48,000 bill down to $10,000? It's only possible once the first 3 keys are figured out. So get the first 3 keys done, find a real estate tax expert. Hopefully they're focusing on your needs, right? When we sit down with prospects, we always look to take them through a series of questions so that we can understand what they're really struggling with and see if we have the services to meet them, right? Similarly, if they came to me and they said, hey, I need a tax plan, but I'm not making any money. In fact, I'm $50,000 in debt. Well, I don't think that a tax plan is what you need. I think you need a debt consolidator, and we're not doing that. And so it helps to have somebody who is going to dive deep into your needs, right? Can you imagine if a doctor just prescribed pain pills to everybody who said that they were in pain when Advil might have solved the problem, right? A tax plan might not be what you need. Maybe you need sales skills. Maybe you need marketing. Maybe you need just income. And once you get that figured out, then it's time to implement a tax plan. But without going through a series of questions and meeting with somebody who can focus on your needs, you're going to be sold a lot of stuff that you might not actually need, right? So you want to make sure that you're finding somebody who's going to take you through and ask you a series of questions to understand your challenges, understand where you're coming from, understand what you want to do. Maybe you're a business owner and you want to stay as far away from real estate as possible. Well, then is a real estate tax expert the best person to help you? Maybe not. And that only comes by getting a gauge for where you're at and where you want to go. So when you're looking for a tax plan and you've gotten to this 4th step in the process, you want to make sure that you have somebody who's an expert in your industry or the industry you want to get into. You want to make sure that they're focusing on your needs, and you want to make sure that they offer the services that you're looking for, right? I just went over tax projections versus tax planning, tax preparation versus tax planning. God forbid you get sold somebody who says they're going to do tax planning. All they offer is tax preparation. That's what a lot of people are struggling with right now. They realize that they've been working with an accountant for 10, 15, 20 years, and they've met with them once every year. That's not tax planning. If you needed oral surgery, if you needed surgery on your tonsils or had to have something removed within the insides of your mouth, would you go to a brain surgeon or a foot surgeon? No, you'd go to an oral surgeon, somebody who can offer the service that you need. And so when you're considering tax planning, it's important for you to consider the expertise of the person you're meeting with. Consider the way that they're approaching you. Are they getting on a call and within 15 minutes, they're like, hey, here's this, what's your credit card? No, you want to make sure that they're taking time to understand you and get to know you and get a feel for whether they have the services you need. We here are certified tax planners. The American Institute of Certified Tax Coaches is a great resource to find certified tax planners. They go through a series of courses and education to get an even higher degree, a higher certificate than just your CPA, right? The CPA is hard enough. If you're working with a CPA, that's great. But if they have a certified tax planner or certified tax coach on top of that, you're in pretty good hands. And sometimes people are slow to invest in a tax plan, right? Maybe things are going well. Maybe you're okay with the amount of taxes you're paying, but you could be paying less. Maybe you've done all the first 3 steps up to this point. You've gotten your books cleaned up. You've implemented the systems and processes to keep them cleaned up. You've started checking on your numbers on a regular basis and deciding and diving into where you're at financially and where you want to go. You've done the first 3 keys to a T. If you stop there, you're missing out on the real money. You're missing out on all of the goods. That's like training for a marathon and doing every single training round just to bow out before the start line, right? You put in all the work. You've cleaned up your books. You've implemented the habits that you need to keep your books clean. You can now see where you're at on a regular basis. And you're going to stop. You're not going to get the icing on the cake that comes in the form of tax planning. Oh man, don't do that. Please run the marathon, finish the race. Oh, there's so much joy at the end of it when you start to see how you can create a tax plan and start to save money and keep more money in your account, build your portfolio, right? We have clients, multiple clients that have continued to increase their portfolio as a result of the money that they're saving. I just had a call last week with a client who had an $8,000 refund, didn't pay $1 into taxes throughout the year. And we were able to get him $8,000 even without paying anything into it. He told me on the meeting, I didn't believe you until the money hit my bank. And he had so much joy. It was a blast. And so this is only possible through tax planning. So don't get this far. Don't stop halfway through. Key number 4 is where it all starts to take shape, right? Taxes are the biggest expense of your lifetime, but they don't need to be. We can plan around it, but it takes you being intentional about finding the right team, making sure they fit your needs, and making sure they have services that you're looking for. Tax planning, not projections. Tax planning, not just preparation. That's what you need. So key number 4 is investing in the tax plan, bringing it all together. We're going to get into the last 2 keys in the next 2 weeks, but this is one of the biggest parts. So if you have done the first 3 steps, you've gotten your books cleaned up, you're keeping them up to date, you're able to see where you're at financially, it is time to invest in a tax plan. If you're sick of paying the US government way more than you need to, check out the link in the show notes. You can find some time on our calendar. Our team would be happy to see if we have a good fit for you guys, because we know that there are a lot of real estate investors that have too little money in their accounts to show for the hard work that they're putting in. So if that's you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're like, what the heck is this ebook? It's linked in the show notes as well. The 6 keys to increasing your real estate revenue. This is a hard time to make money in real estate, but it doesn't have to be. You can make money by just knowing your numbers and saving on taxes. I trust this was valuable. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It helps us get in front of eyes and ears like yours. And make sure to tune in as we wrap up the 6 keys to increasing your real estate revenue over the next 2 weeks. God bless you all and keep moving forward.